Assalamualaikum and a very good day to the respected panels. My name is Abdul Azim bin Abdul Malik and my PSM2 topic is game-based learning using extended reality for primary school mathematics, supervised by Dr. Arjun Wanis binti Ismail. This is the overview of the chapters. First is we have introduction, then literature review, project methodology, implementation, evaluation and testing, as well as conclusion. Chapter 1, introduction. Problem background. The reason for the title is because mathematics skill among students in Malaysia are severely lacking because according to studies of Trends of International Mathematics and Science Study, TIMSS 2015 and PISA 2015, students in Malaysia are average. This can be deduced that Malaysian students do not have enough fundamental knowledge of mathematics and we need to have a better engagement between students and teachers to attract students more in learning mathematics. Standard way of teaching currently has become less interesting for modern day students. So we are trying to use the modern approach. So the aim of the project is to develop a game-based learning using extended reality for primary school mathematics. And these are the objectives. The first objective is to investigate existing game-based learning application for learning mathematics among primary and elementary level, and to also investigate the existence of extended reality technology. Second objective is to design the extended reality interfaces and the game-based learning application. And the last objective is to develop the game-based learning application incorporated with the extended reality technology in learning mathematics. This is the scope of the project. Application is going to be targeted for students of primary school, which is 7 to 12 years old. The application will be developed for Android smartphone and this application will include the XR technology, which incorporates the AR and VR inside one application. The application is for smartphone, as mentioned before, is going to be touch-based, and the development is going to be done in Unity 3D game engine. Now we're going to move to chapter 2, literature review. Uh, Extended reality is a term, not a new technology. It's more like a new term to encompass uh, virtual realities, augmented realities, and mixed realities. Uh, Extended reality is introduced because of its flexibility of having every single realities in one application. So first, virtual reality. Virtual reality is an environment created using computer technology to simulate a limited application of real world. And earliest trace of VR is at mid-1960, where even Sutherland has described VR as a window where user perceives virtual world as if looked, felt, and sounded real, and which the user could act realistically. The devices for VR are now much lighter and compact due to evolution of technology. VR in modern days are now being utilized in medical fields and automotive industries. These are the example where medical fields use VR to provide training scheme for newly acquired resident doctors and novice doctors. And for in automotive industries, it's used to develop to reduce budget in R&D and auto showroom. For augmented reality, AR augments simulated object onto the real world inside the screen of our device. Fundamentally same with VR, and AR is supposedly to make a better daily task and performances by helping user to augmented object in an interactive way. Here are some application that can be used by utilizing AR. Some of them are tourism, games, and medical. Here are the differences between game-based learning and gamification, where the project is targeted to make a game-based learning application. So to utilize game to achieve a learning outcome, the game-based learning will have a gameplay and an actual game. The application will also be able to help in learning and increase effectiveness among students in learning mathematics. So these are some example of existing game-based learning that have been found. First of them is Prodigy Mathematics, and the second is Math Builder. Here are the mathematics performance of Malaysian students in the TIMSS 2019. So now is chapter 3, project methodology. Here is the methodology of the project where we have completed all three objectives. First is to analyze existing XR technology and existing game-based learning application. And then it's going to design the application. First, we have user interactions using VR, gyroscope, and touch-based AR. And then to design the AR and VR space, where we are designing the workspace setup, game mechanics, user interface, and questions. Game mechanics is also divided into three, which is the game mechanic includes VR shooting, VR ball throw, and AR shooting. Afterwards is the integration of user interaction and the VR and AR space, which is essentially the XR itself. Virtual reality of the game is developed using Google Cardboard VR SDK. Google Cardboard allows the development of the VR without the use of head-mounted display. Since we are developing the application on Android phone and we are going to use it among students, so head-mounted display to be brought everywhere seems counter-effective. And then for augmented reality, the game is developed using the Vuforia Engine SDK. It is used because it has multiple supports by the community with good reputation of being stable. AR can be accessed in the game just like the VR is accessed. AR mode of the game is going to use a marker. These are the software requirement. Software use is Unity 3D version 2019.4.33 F1. The IDE used is Microsoft Visual Community 2019. And then I also use SDK for Firebase, Google VR, and Vuforia Engine. This is the hardware used. I use operating system Microsoft Windows 10 with a memory RAM of 16 gig. Processor is Intel Core i5 10th generation with a GTX 1650 Ti as the graphic processor. Chapter 4, implementation. Both virtual reality and augmented reality are touch-based. As mentioned before, VR is using Google Cardboard SDK. As can be seen in the image, each scene that uses VR mode will have this same hierarchical game object arrangement. As for AR, has been mentioned as well using Vuforia Engine. The marker has been defined in the database. On the right side, here is the marker. Each AR scene as well use the same arrangement for the AR to work. Here is the 3D game space. The 3D game space is used to bridge the VR and AR access. So users will just need to enter each room, which will then trigger the UI panel here. So from UI panel here, users can choose whether they wanted to play the game in VR mode or AR mode. We have 4 classes. Here are the basic operations available. First is addition, second is subtraction, third is multiplication, and last one is division. Each of the game has its own VR mode and has its own AR mode as well. Firebase and Photon Unity networking is used to store mark for students as well as creating rooms for students to join together respectively. Chapter 5 is evaluation and testing. So here is the pre-questionnaire before the respondent tried the application. 9 out of 15 respondents available, slightly familiar with video games, and 2 respondents responded with neither. And then 4 out of 15 respondents are slightly familiar with mathematics-based games, while 7 out of 15 are very familiar of mathematics-based game. This is for pre-questionnaire. And then for post-questionnaire, one of the question is whether mathematics is easy to learn after they have tested the application. And 10 out of 15 respondent, which is equivalent to 66.67%, agree that the game application make mathematics easier to learn. And then one of other question that is available in the post questionnaire is whether they feel enthusiastic to learn mathematics after they tested the application, which shows that 80%, which is equivalent to 12 respondents, feeling that they wanted to learn mathematics more after testing the game. Conclusion. So the objectives stated before are achieved. The investigation and review of existing game-based learning and extended reality technology has been done. And then the design of the game-based learning and XR space is completed. And then the development of the application as well as integration of the game-based learning space with the XR space is also complete. For future works, just like any other application, the application still has room for improvements. One of them is to allow immersive VR with full headset compatibility, maybe can be considered. And then the AR mode of the game can be improved by allowing a geo-based AR instead of using a traditional marker-based AR. That is all for the presentation. Thank you.